everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. Hi. Hello, friends. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another vlog. Welcome to another weekend vlog. I wanted to pop in and say hello because it is officially another weekend. We fucking love it. But this weekend, what have I got going on? Tomorrow, I'm meeting a local author here who we've met over TikTok, and I had no idea that they were from my city. So kind of fun and funky. They were doing this book swap a little earlier this year, kind of doing like book swaps with different authors. So like, you know, trading a book for one of their books. Since we live in the same city, they were like, why don't we just meet in person instead of having to like ship to each other even though we live in the same city. I was like, yeah, obviously. So we're gonna meet tomorrow. I don't know if we're actually like meeting and hanging out or if we're just gonna like meet at this local coffee shop for a few minutes and hang out. Either way, I'm getting coffee tomorrow. I'm gonna treat myself to a coffee from this coffee place. Hopefully it has lactose-free options. If not, I will bring my Lactaid with me anyways, just so that I don't die, because we don't want to die in this household. Not actually die, just be in excruciating amount of pain for the rest of the weekend. We don't want that. And then tomorrow night is another friend's birthday. All of my friends have birthdays from September to December. It's literally most of us, except for one, and she doesn't even live in the freaking province anymore. So like, her birthday's early in the year, and my friend's partner, Tamsin, her birthday is in April, I think. So all of this friend group, I'm the first in September, and then it's just September, October, November. And then thankfully after this one, we have a bit of a break. And then December, there's another one. And then of course, like Christmas shenanigans. But anyways, that's gonna be fun tomorrow. I'm not sure what she's got planned. I think she's got like a bunch of crafts and stuff, so I'm very excited about that. I want to actually tell you what I'm doing for her birthday, because I did mention last weekend that I was rereading Gideon the Ninth, but I never held up the book. I never really talked about it because I'm rereading Gideon the Ninth with her copy. I bought her a copy of Gideon the Ninth because she borrowed my copy to read and absolutely fell in love with it, and like she wanted the paperback versions of it. So I now have this one for her birthday, which she's going to be getting before she sees this vlog, because I know she watches my vlogs. Hello, Sophia. I didn't want to spoil her, but I'm reading her copy for a very specific reason. I'm not just reading it because I want to read it. I really do want to read it, but I am annotating her copy for her. I like, you know, like people do that fun thing where they like annotate things to their friends, and that's what I've been doing. Don't focus on me, focus on the book. Thank you. So as you can kind of see, gone through and annotated a fair bit of it. The hardest part of this is not breaking the spine, because I'm trying to keep this as clean as possible for her and as like unmarred as possible. Oh my god, I'm so scared every time I like open up this book, because y'all know I let my books do whatever they want to do when I'm reading them. Like I'll prepare a paperback to read so that I don't like, you know, break the spine. I've broken the spine before. What am I saying? I don't like some, especially like with these bigger paperbacks, sometimes they are floppy, but when you go to read them, you break the spine and then the pages start falling out, hence what was happening with City of Brass. And I don't want to read a book where the pages are falling out. So I have to be really careful with it. But with books for other people, I am being so fucking careful with this because I want it to be like beautifully done. So I even have this little like paper inside where I've like tested colors that I could do for the annotations. And then I've been using this as a ruler to like try and make all of my annotations as straight as possible. Not all of them, because I do like a good wavy line annotation sometimes. But yeah, I've been like writing her little things in it. But yeah, this is what I'm doing for her birthday. This is her birthday gift. When she was reading my copy of Gideon, I actually had to go through both Gideon and Harrow, because I did lend her Harrow as well. She hasn't read it yet, but because, you know, emotional trauma. But Harrow is her favorite character, so I'm excited for her to experience the book of Harrow the Ninth, the absolute shit show that is. But when she was reading Gideon, she said that my annotations were so helpful and were some of like made the book even more fun to read. So I'm excited to give this to her and like something that she can keep and whatever. I'm being very, very, very careful with this book. I'm treating it like a fucking baby, but I am very excited to finish this up. I haven't actually finished it. So this is my task for tomorrow after I get home from coffee and before I go to Sophia's party, which should be easy because I only have like an hour and a half left on the audiobook at 3 times speed. So but this reread has been going so great. I've been actually rereading it to annotate it because this is one of my favorite books of all time. And just rereading this again, this is the third time I've reread it, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I've caught so much stuff. Fuck, man. I wish Electa was coming out so that I could just do like the reread of the whole series to get to it. But I don't have enough space in my actual TBR to be committing to a reread of the entire Locked Tomb of both Harrow and Nona, but like who knows, maybe if I get in my sads one day I'll reread Harrow and then Nona, because I've never reread Nona. I've only read it once. Yeah, this is gonna be finished tomorrow, and then hopefully I can wrap it and get it ready for her. She low-key knows that I'm giving her Gideon already because she was telling me about it, and I've basically forbade her from buying any of the books that are on her wish list, which includes Harrow the Ninth. I basically have said, like, you are not allowed to buy Harrow or Gideon or any of these things. And she was like, I think my coworker is gonna get me Gideon. And I'm like, well, I hope she has a receipt for it because I'm getting it for you. She just started laughing, and I'm like, but she's got really excited about it. So, but she doesn't know that I'm annotating it for her. So that's a special gift. So that is gonna be tomorrow. But what I'm gonna be reading myself this weekend, I had plans to make this weekend like a readathon weekend, but I just don't think I have enough time with having so much to do tomorrow. I just don't think I have enough time to do it without like an extra long weekend day. So I might have to wait for another day where I can make a long weekend, or there is a long weekend. I don't think there's another one in November or December, right? Because the only thing in December is Christmas. So, and I do want to do a 24-hour readathon over Christmas sometime. That'll be really fun. But maybe I'll squeeze one in next weekend because I don't have anything going on. So maybe I'll do that next weekend. Anyways, other than that, I am reading Kingdom of Copper, which is the second book in the David Bad trilogy. This is for my series videos, so I should probably focus on this weekend. I'm on page 159. And other than that, I have this big stack of library books that I would love to read, love to get to. I don't know which one I want to get to though. I have Ebony Gate by Julia V and Ken Babel. I kind of want to give this a try. I've just been so intrigued by this. I keep like wanting to pick it up. So that might be number one. I also have these two Indigenous books on my list that I also really want to get to. A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair, and then Medicine Walk by Richard Wagamese. So both of these I really want to read. This one's also a Canadian author, so I would love to get to this one. We'll be reading them even if I don't get to them this weekend. I freaking hope I can get to them immediately. And then I have these two Palestinian books. I have the Book of Disappearance by Ibtissam Azem. I don't know how to say their name, I'm so sorry. This is translated from Arabic by Sinan Antoun, and this is a very tiny little book that, oh, I don't even know what genre it is. It's potentially sci-fi, potentially fantasy, potentially magical realism. I don't know, but it just has this question on the back. What if all the Palestinians in Israel simply disappeared one day? What would happen next? These unsettling questions are posed in Azem's powerfully imaginative novel. You know, maybe it's not even sci-fi or fantasy, but like the idea of people vanishing, dystopian as fuck. So this could be fun. And then I also have, of course, On Palestine by Noam Chomsky and Ilan Pappé, which I am also very intrigued by. Yeah, these are reading options for the weekend. We shall see. I also have the two books that I want to read in November, Ordinary Monsters and Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which are the really, really thick boys. They're calling my name. So I really want to get a lot of this stuff polished off. Like I want to get the series video number 4 finished. That's the main thing before I dive into another reading vlog of any kind, because I'm thinking of doing, maybe instead of doing like a sci-fi weekend, I might just do like a sci-fi vlog where I like vlog the whole week kind of thing of like reading sci-fi throughout the week. Even though I don't get a lot of reading done throughout the week, I think it could be a fun way to make me read during the week. How many times did I just say during the week? So those are the reading plans leading up into this weekend. Hopefully I get a lot read. I will be finishing at least one book, hopefully 2, potentially more, because yeah, tomorrow we got a couple things going on. Sunday again, nothing at all. Probably going for dinner at mom and dad's. Like, what's new? It's a sort of a weekend. I also want to do some writing at some point because I feel like I got a little bit of that like terror in me, because I've always said, like, I keep saying that I want this first draft done for book 3 before the end of the year. And I know that my productivity in December goes way down, and I'm still in part 1 of this story. So I need to kind of get boogieing. I am coming to the end of part 1 and I'm we're kind of getting into the parts where I have to actually start thinking about like what's going on in the story a little bit more. So I think I just need to like sit and have like a big writing day kind of a thing. So maybe Sunday, that could be fun, kind of fun, see how much I can get written. That's what's up, that's what's happening. Welcome to the vlog. I apologize for the really long intro, but it's gonna be a good one. So I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday. I think Gideon the Ninth is my favorite book of all time now. I think I can confidently say that this book is my favorite book of all time. Finished the annotation process for my friend. Cried at the end yet again. It is just so fucking brilliant, you know? Oh my god. I think it's done it. I think it has shunted the Starless Sea out of that top spot. Oh my god. I want to reread this again. I want to get my hands back on my copy. Hopefully Sophia has it tonight because she still has my copy. And I want to reread it again. That's how... Oh, I want to squeeze this so bad, but I won't because I don't want to hurt it. Ah! Yeah. I think this is my favorite book of all time, which is so funny to me because the first time I read this, I gave it 4.5 stars. I just couldn't quite like conceptualize it. But then, you know, upon rereading it for the second time, I knew it was a 5-star. It's fucking brilliant. And now that I've read it a third time, I keep seeing things in these books that just elevates my reading experience every fucking time I read these books. Like, now that I've read the 3 books of the Locked Tomb up to Nona, things just keep getting revealed more and more, going back and restarting and rereading them again. Yes. Yes, my friends. I think I might have to reread Harrow and fucking Nona now. Fuck. You know? I might just have to. Anyways. I'm gonna go wrap this. What an afternoon. It's already dark out. Look at that. It doesn't really look that dark, but it's getting there. It's dark. The sun is gone. And it is 5:20. Love winter. I love winter so much. Anyways, oh my god, what a day. Woke up this morning, went to go to Little Sister Coffee Maker, which is a coffee shop and bakery and like a, you know, a cafe. That's what it's called. here where I live. Coffee was fucking delicious. Like I got a coffee and then Rin, I believe, our Don Raven, didn't, but like we weren't like sitting and staying for very long. We just, because they had to go run errands with their mom and I was open to staying or leaving, it didn't really matter, but I got the coffee, brought it home with me. I added just a touch of my own like vanilla creamer because it was not quite sweet enough for me, but I didn't want to add like straight sugar, so I just added a little touch of creamer. This coffee, I've been milking it all day. It is now officially done. Just the dregs of it are done. Straight up tastes like pumpkin pie. I don't even know what the name of it was called because I walked up and I was like, hi, like I walked up to the counter and the girl was like, what can I get you? And I'm like, what's tasty here? And she's just like, she gave me this look of panic and she's like, well, what do you like? Do you like sweet stuff? I'm like, yes. She says, do you like dairy? I'm like, can't have it. And she's like, okay. We have this something spiced latte and I'll be like, I'll take it with almond milk, and it's so good, and I cannot remember the first word that she said, but it's some kind of spice latte. It's not pumpkin spice, because I would have remembered that, but it tastes like pumpkin pie. It is so fucking good. It was. It's done now. I was milking it all day because I didn't want to be done with it. It was just so tasty. I also got some writing done today. Very exciting. Got, I think, 2,300 more words down in Project Favor, so love that for me. I have one more chapter to write in part 1, and then we get into part 2, which I'm gonna need to plan out just a little bit for my own brain, like the structure of it. Then we get into writing that, because I do know like what's gonna happen in part 2. I just need to actually like plan the structure of it because there's a few moving parts that I need to keep track of. I love and hate writing first drafts because one, it's just so nice to get a story out of me, and drafting is one of my favorite things to do just because it's just like the words are pouring out my fingers. It's discovering a new story, it's writing it down, all that kind of stuff. But it's also awful because I would much rather be editing a story, which is so interesting because I never thought I would say that. I'd much rather be editing what is already written and created to make it better. Like I love drafting, don't get me wrong, it's not my favorite part of the writing process. There's something about making a story better and rewriting and editing and coming back to it over and over again. So like writing this draft, there's a lot of just me writing in like notes to myself for when I come back and read it over, just basically like think of a better way to say this, or think of adding this to the story, like things that are coming to mind as I'm writing so that I don't stall myself and go backwards and have to add in or like rewrite this scene already and whatever. That's one of my tricks that I do to make myself not stop and go backwards, which is definitely numero uno of what used to slow me down when I drafted when I was a lot younger. And the reason why I didn't finish many projects when I was a lot younger, because I let myself go back and edit, and I need to not do that when I'm just getting the story down. It's a hot mess. Some sentences don't make sense. I am typing at the speed of my thoughts. Like sometimes half words are formed. I'm not typing properly, that kind of thing. You know, mistakes happen. So when I go back and read a paragraph or two, sometimes like the wrong word is there because my brain is like short-circuited. But it's the only way I can fast draft anything. And so I'm really hoping that I can keep up this momentum and get through part 2 and part 3 before the end of November. I think that's the goal, is getting past the midpoint in this book before the end of November. And it is currently the 11th, and I'm just about to reach part 2. So I think tomorrow I'm gonna take some time, have a good like writing day, and just see how much I can really milk from the story in one day, like really sit with it, see how far I can get with planning a little bit of part 2 and actually writing part 2 and seeing where the rest of the story is going to go. Because I also know that the last half of the story is a part of the story that I don't know well enough yet. I don't know what I want to do in part 3, part 4, part 5. I just know like kind of here and there little snippets. Because if you guys remember, I did an exercise a number of months ago, I think it was in the summer, that was based off of Rebecca Thorne's 5-sentence method on how she plots things, where she does like at the 5% mark is the intro, the 25% mark is adventure time, 50% mark midpoint reversal, 75% mark point of no return, 95% mark resolution. So she comes up with a sentence for each one of these things. I couldn't do that. I couldn't boil down my plot to just one sentence. as of the moment that I was doing this. So I did like a 5 paragraphs for each moment in the story, which was really good to get my brain working. I did it for Mary, and then I also did it for Zanvi, which actually when I did that, I opened up a new storyline that I was going to add in and all that kind of stuff. So Project Favor is going to be a lot more meaty than the previous books were. A Second Story and A Little Luck. There's a lot more going on. It is more fantasy instead of romance, even though the romance is like the main A plot. The B plot is what I'm going to be calling the Thistle plot. That plot runs very closely with the A plot. So A and B are like here with each other rather than being like stacked nicely A, B, C, etc. A and B are like real close. So I have to make sure that the balance act between those two plots actually works. But this is a lot to think about for a first draft. That is for me in 2024 when I come back to edit this book and make it something wonderful. But yes, I need to boogie if I want to get this done by the end of the year, if I want to have this draft done by the end of the year. It's going to be a mess, and I'm okay with that. I just need to have the story bones down and the story down. That's all I need, because then I can come back and make it better, which is my favorite part of the writing process anyways. Very happy with that. I also, in that process, have fleshed out the character of Nova Lee a lot better, who is Zanvi's best friend. Nova is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters. I didn't expect her to be a favorite so quickly, but her and her partner's triangle, because they are polyamorous, just have immediately made me so happy. I haven't even had Caius and Jay on page yet, the other two partners, and I'm immediately just like, I fucking want to meet them. I want to live in their house. Oh my god. So Nova has this beautiful little brick house. I'm thinking she lives in like this little court is called, where like here where I live, we would call it a cul-de-sac, but like really tiny, so that there's not even like that much concrete in the middle. It's just like a little courtyard in the middle between all these buildings that all kind of like lean in on one another. Nova has this beautiful little brick house that she's lived in for so long. And then when she met her first partner, Caius, he moved in with her. And then after this really big storm that actually affected also the bookstore, A Second Story, before the boys bought it as a second story, that really big storm also affected her place, like wrecked her front door, which then Caius was rebuilding for her because he's like tradesman. And in that, they also met Jay, and then all three of them fell in love with each other. And like the image of her door is probably one of my favorite images I've ever conceived of. It's not beautifully written right now, but it's a beautiful image in my head. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's this beautiful blue door, sky blue door that she's painted herself. And the closer you come to it, the more you can see her like filigree of hand-painted like vines and flowers and stuff that she's added to it. And it's beautifully constructed. So it's like got this brand new frame that Caius built for her, and then it's painted by her. And then it's just like the front of her house is just covered in beautiful plant life and greenery that Jay brought in, because Jay is a gardener and like has a really big green thumb. And so it's like their front door is like a picture of all three of them and how they work together. And I'm a genius. I'm sorry. I'm so humble. Anyways, that's the update for today. I'm in a really great mood. The coffee was stunning. Gideon the Ninth, stunning. Favorite book of all time. I'm saying it now, pinning it in stone. It took third reread to make it so, but it was one of my favorite books of all time from the second reread, and now it is just my favorite book of all time. I will probably catch up with you guys tomorrow, depending on if I have anything to share with you when I get home from Sophia's. But it is officially Sophia's birthday party in a number of hours, so I'm gonna leave after 6:30. I got an hour and a bit before I have to go, so we're gonna see what I end up getting up to, but I'll catch up with you guys later. Birthday cake box. And that makes her really happy. Cute. Well, you need to get Sophia. Where's the stronger? Jet. And I have an intimate suspicion of what it is. I think I know exactly what book it is too. but I am so excited.
So, you know, Sophia, I've been rereading Gideon the Nines, right?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god, that's so sweet! It's freaking annotated! Aww!
Because you loved my annotation so much in my copy, I was like, well, I gotta.
That's so sweet.
Birthday, dear Sophie!
Happy birthday to you!
Hello friends, happy Sunday. I am here trying to get my phone to stay normal. There we go. I've been reading Ebony Gate. And I'm so sad about it because this started out so good. So I decided to start it today in hopes of like powering through the whole thing today, which I kind of did. I mean, I got to like page 250 and I just like skimmed through the rest of it because I was so tired of reading it. But this book is so cool in concept and it has such cool moments right at the beginning. But holy fuck does it drag. And I was reading this at 3.5 speed on the audiobook so I could get through it fast. So I can't imagine how much this dragged for someone who was reading it at a normal pace. Like, this had the energy of like, oh, I don't even know. I don't know, a little bit of The Witcher, that one scene where he like takes everybody out to help the girl princess person. A little bit of that vibe, a little bit of Jade City vibe. I don't even know. It had so many interesting vibes. It was doing really, really well. It has monsters at the heart of it. It's got a really cool concept of like our main character, Emiko. She has to, for some reason, which I don't understand, her mom is indebted to this like death god person who then calls on the Sung family, which is what she's in. So there's lots of different clans, lots of different magics in the clans. There's not really any like specific, like this clan has this magic, this clan has this magic. It's kind of all over the place. Like everyone can just kind of have these different powers. There's like dragon magic and tiger magic. It's kind of interesting, but also a little bit not very well cemented in the world building. And that kind of starts my problems with it. So the world building wasn't perfect. It wasn't great. Also, the characters were so bad. Like, the only good character was Emiko because she was the main character. It felt like she was just doing everything herself because she was, and everyone else around her was just like immediately helpful, immediately there for her, even though she has this like reputation of being this monster, this butcher of Beijing is what she's called. Another thing, she like with the magic system, she herself has no what she calls a talent. So all these people in these clans have talents, and she does not have a talent, and she keeps saying that she has no ki or chi, I guess is the pronunciation. She has no chi. She keeps saying she doesn't have any chi because she has no talent. And she's given up being a blade, which I assume is like this like warrior thing. It wasn't really explained. Again, my issues with world building. She has no chi. She keeps saying this, but then she keeps using chi throughout this whole fucking book, and she keeps being able to do things that like normal people can't do with this chi that she supposedly doesn't have. And yet she's really, really cool and really great with a sword. Like, she's a really cool character, but she's the only good thing about this book. Like, the world building kind of shatters around her. It doesn't really feel concrete, even though it's set in San Francisco and it's kind of a cool, like, urban fantasy. Like, it doesn't feel like any place that I know. It kind of feels like we're just in an amorphous space. Like, as someone who can picture things in my head like a movie when I'm reading, world building is my bread and butter. I want you to tell me what the fucking places look like, right? We didn't get really any of that. It just kind of expects you to know what San Francisco looked like at this time. I was expecting like this almost like noir feeling of being in this like grittier San Francisco with all these clans and stuff. But I also don't know what time this is set in, because it feels like it should be ancient, but they have phones and security cameras and all this kind of stuff. So it feels very modern, but like not right modern, like not correctly done modern. It's not set in a specific time in the right way. So again, the world building failed me on that part. But yeah, it just felt like I was reading this in like an amorphous blob of space with Emiko just going around like defeating ghosts and shit. So like the fight scenes were really cool. And I really wanted to like this, but I just couldn't connect with the story. I couldn't connect it with any of the characters. Like literally all the characters, like it just didn't have structure. And this whole over 400 page fantasy book, 500 page? How many pages? 400 page fantasy book is set over a day and a half, and it feels like it's set over a month. That's how much this shit dragged. Like the amount of times that Emiko is injured, passed out, and like not awake. The fact that this is over a day and a half doesn't make any sense time-wise. Like the timeline of this was batshit, and it slugged. Like I'm so mad about it. So yeah, I got to like somewhere near the end because like the audiobook narrator is Natalie Naudus, who is an absolutely incredible audiobook narrator. I love her work so much, and she's so entrancing to listen to. So I was enjoying it mostly because it's Natalie Naudus telling me a story. And honestly, like it's almost gonna get like a full star because of that. But like everything else just really failed, really shit the bed. Ugh, I was wanting to like this so much. It's such a cool concept. I wanted it to be really well done, parboiled down to this really cool world building experience, also against the rush of time kind of a thing, you know? Because the whole thing is that she gets roped into, as I said, the death god thing with her mother, and he basically makes a deal with her, forces her into making this deal that she has to find this stolen ebony gate, hence the name, before full moon, which is literally the next night, because it has been stolen or removed from this place. It's a gate to the underworld, and without this gate holding the underworld, like holding this door in place, ghouls and monsters and bad things come out. So that was interesting. I think this would have been so much better if she had been given a week timeline and had it so that it starts with her experiencing a ghost where she shouldn't experience a ghost and having to fight that fucking ghost, and then being like, what the fuck is happening, you know? And then, because of that, then having that pull and that whole thing with the death god trigger her into being, because she was there and because whatever the fuck is up with her mother, like she gets tied to this and she has to figure out how to help this whole thing. And then she reluctantly has to bring together all these other people to help her do this, because this is a huge thing. Like, how do you even track down a stolen artifact in fucking San Francisco? You can't. Like, that shit is hard. But like homegirl, when she figures this out, she just like goes to visit the clan, one clan, and then they just like don't give her what she wants. And then she goes to visit another clan and then they give her what she wants. And I'm like, this is not, and there's a lot of things that happen that have no finishing tether. Like they don't mean anything. They just happen because they happen. Like she ends up giving this little girl at one of the clan's houses like a lesson. She becomes her master in some way in like combat. Nothing comes of that. Like it was a mess. So anyways, in my hypothetical better version of this, so we have the ghost triggering this whole story. The first scene is like Emiko trying to live her life, and she's, you know, we see her bad reputation, people hate on her, etc., etc. And then we see her have to fight this ghost and like save some people in this part of town where this ghost portal thing is. And then she's like, holy shit, why is there a ghost here? That shouldn't happen. And then that kicks her into like a little bit of research gear. And then also all these other people are like, homegirl, you got to protect us. And she's like, I'm no longer the blade. You can't rely on me. And they're all like, yeah, but you're the butcher of Beijing. Like, you're the best. And then she's like, but I'm a monster. Like, you guys don't like me. And then she gets tied into it because of the death god. And that would be so much cooler because then she has stakes in it. And then she has a week to figure shit out. Because that's how long this felt that it should have been. Like, she should have been given a longer timeline to do that. So that she can properly do her research, visit these clans, have these things happen in a better laid out way that isn't like trying to squish a month's worth of events into a day and a fucking half. Like, I want to take this book, call up these two authors and say, hey, let's replot this so that it's better. Because this was a mess. Okay. Anyways, I'm so mad about it. I'm so mad about it. Because I could have been reading other things, but I kept like wanting and wishing it was better. So I just kept going. I don't even know. Anyways, I also wanted to try this today, Forged by Blood by Ehigbor Okusun, which I also have the audiobook for on Scribd, and it is 11. So like low-key kind of want to try this now, but I also have like not gotten any progress in the Kingdom of Copper, which I really should, but I'm not in the mood to pick this up, so I might dive into this and just see if I can get these two off my plate, even though they're not really technically on my plate because they're library books. I've just put them on my plate because of that. Anyways, so that was my rant about Ebony Gate, but today has been a good day. Productive, got a fuck ton of writing done. We're very happy with that. I didn't do the writing day that I was planning on doing. I remembered the writing day literally 2 hours ago before Amy's stream started. I was reading Ebony Gate and I was like, totally forgot that I wanted to do like a writing day today. So like I woke up this morning and, you know, made my coffee, did all this stuff, and then I decided to go grocery shopping, and then I came home, and then because I was like really overheated, I was just like, you know what, well, I'm already warmed up, I should do a workout. So I did a workout because I've been trying to like incorporate more movement into my life because I don't move a lot and I want to just become healthier, and like I want my joints to be better because my joints are shitty. I have really bad knees, really bad ankles, so I want to try and help that. Then I made dinner, which was absolutely stunning. And then I got back and was reading Ebony Gate more. And then I did some writing. So like I've done a lot today, but oh man. But yeah, I didn't end up doing the writing day, but I did finish part 1, which is very exciting. I am now gonna like think about part 2. I'm gonna think about how I want to go forward with this week, and hopefully this week I can finish part 2, get really good writing done, and then dive into part 3 the next week and like kind of set myself up for success with the rest of this book and see where the direction of everything goes. You know? Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do. I am going to start this. I really want to give this a try. This is a debut fantasy, which looks so cool. And it's blurbed on the front by Sarah El Arifi. I don't know, it just sounds really cool. It's got a lot of politics at the center of it, which like, of course it does. Fantasy is very political, as we talked about last week in that vlog. It sounds really cool. So, in the midst of an authoritarian regime and political invasion, Demi wants to survive. To avoid suspicion of the non-magical Ajes who occupy her ancestral homeland of Ife, to escape King Sorensen's brutal genocide of her people, the darker-skinned, magical-wielding Oluso, and to live peacefully with her secretive mother while learning to control the terrifying blood magic that is her birthright. Well, doesn't that sound timely? Let's do it. Hello, my lovely friends. Happy Monday. I am home. Just heated up some pasta from yesterday for dinner today. So I just got home from piano. How's everybody doing? Everything's great. I'm gonna put some grana padano in my... Oh, my lights are on a stupid flicker setting and they keep making me think something's going on wrong every time they hit like seizure level, like flashes. I need to change that because it's just like cycling through the modes right now. Anyways, for my lights around my window, I want to pop in and officially say, hey, what a day, what a time to be alive. Last night, I do have reading news. So the book that I started last night, the other library book, I went through like all of the different emotions when I started it. First up, it is not an adult fantasy. it is a YA. I don't care what it's being marketed as. This is a YA. Like, our main character is 18 and there's a love triangle, and it starts when she's like a little girl, and it has all the tropes that a YA does. Like, it is fitting so perfectly in a YA book. It is very juvenile as well. Like, not like, oh my god, it's so juvenile, but like the way that it fits a YA mold perfectly. It's reminding me of Children of Blood and Bone and the one by Ayanna Gray that I can't remember the name of. Beasts of Burden, Beasts of Prey, Beast of something. Beast of something. It's reminding me really fiercely of those two, like if you, those two like combined. And I was going through so many different emotions reading this book. So I'm about 250 pages in. Where am I? 255 pages in on chapter Beaten. They aren't numbered chapters, which is another choice. Let me go sit and I can talk to you. I almost dropped my plate on the ground. Holy shit. This follows our main character. I can't remember her name because my memory is shit. Demi, as I said yesterday, who is a blood magician. So the world in this is very interesting. I'm still trying to grasp the different elements of the magic systems in here, because I thought that anyone, like the people in this world who had magic, could only have like blood magic kind of a thing. But I guess not, because we have iron bloods as well. I don't know what they can do yet. We've just had a mention of them. Had like healers and people who can like teleport and stuff. And also like our main character is someone who can heal, but she can also manipulate wind. So a little bit weird on that point. Like she feels a little bit overpowered in that sense. Like she's got like multiple powers when like most people only have like one. When we meet a little girl in here who has like water bending powers. It's not actual water bending. It doesn't really relate to water bending, but that's the only way I can think of it. Water powers, if you will, where she can like turn water to ice. So like that makes sense to me. It's like having one specific thing as your power, but our main character has like multiple, where she can like mess with the wind and also heal people. And I'm like, okay. And she can also create like illusions and stuff. She's got a lot of shit going on. She can do a lot of things. And not really explained as to why she's a little bit more powerful, or if like other people also can do multiple different things in their facets of whatever. But yeah, so main character Demi loses her mom at the age of like 9 or 10, witnesses her death, witnesses her, you know, murder by the guards who come into her town. She basically accuses this boy that's there, this white boy, because it's his guardian who brought the guards to them, and then he like tricked her into this. Like she thinks that he's the reason why her mom is dead. Then she ends up fleeing and living with this other family for a little while, and she gets roped into this plot by this man in power who is secretly a magical person, because as I explained yesterday, or like as I read in the blurb yesterday, this is about people who have no power oppressing the people who have power, you know, magic, I should say. It's about the people who have no magic oppressing the people with magic. You know, the standard fantasy plot. Like this is a very typical fantasy, very typical YA fantasy, you know. So she gets roped into doing this thing where she has to go kidnap the prince and bring the prince to this man who will then return and like rescue the prince to curry favor and basically be given this like promotion thing so that he has more power, so that he can thus, as he says, he's going to make a better world for the Aluo. I don't know if that's actually how you say it. Oluso, sorry. The Oluso people. Who are those with magic? It's just a typical YA book. But like I kept going through all these different like phases of being like, oh, this is YA and I have to read another fucking YA book, because y'all know I have issues with YA fantasy. I have issues with YA books and in general. Not that I think they're bad. I'm just done with them as a reader because I like adult stuff so much more now. It's just better. I went through that feeling, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get to page 50 and then I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna put this down and DNF it or not. I looked at the reviews online. It's got like really shitty reviews. It's got like a 3.4 on Goodreads. Why I think that's shitty, I don't know. But do you guys have this thing when you look on Goodreads and it's like a 3.9 or a 3.8 and you're like, okay, it's not that bad. Even like a 3.6 isn't that bad, but as soon as it gets to like 3.5 or 3.4, I'm like, oh, and you're just like, ooh, I don't know if I want to read this anymore. Like it's got kind of bad reviews. Like the majority of reviews are 3 stars for this book. It's very middle of the road, and I can get that. Like a lot of people are saying it's incredibly juvenile, it's incredibly like predictable, simplistic, but I'm having fun. Like last night when I was reading it in bed, I was genuinely considering just finishing it and staying up until 4 to finish this, because I had like an hour and 40 minutes left on the audiobook and it was already 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, well, do I want to do this to myself today? I didn't. But yeah, so that's my experience with this. I'm liking this more than I liked Beasts of Prey by Iana Gray, which I keep comparing it to. I like it a lot more than that one. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you. It's got a lot of angst. It's got a lot of teenage, you know, stuff. It's got a fucking love triangle. I'm so tired of reading love triangles. I haven't even read that many in my life. But you know, it's one of those things. So it's not gonna get like a super high rating, but like I'm not hating the experience of reading it. So that's Forged by Blood. That's my experience of reading it. Last night I was honestly considering, when I was like before the 50-page mark, DNFing it and starting Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke, which is actually on my fall TBR. Because it was one of those things where I was like, this weekend I've reread a book which wasn't on my TBR, and then I read a library book, and then I'm reading another library book. Like I'm not getting anywhere on my TBR kind of a thing. And I kind of felt bad about not being more productive with my actual TBR, not reading The Kingdom of Copper, which was my whole point and my whole goal of this weekend. And then I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm a mood reader. That's what happens. Anyways, so yes, this weekend was a great weekend. I reread Gideon the Ninth and officially cemented that as my favorite book of all time. I am so pleased with that. And as soon as I get my copies of Gideon and Harrow back from my friend Sophia, I'm going to reread Harrow and then reread Nona, because I want to live in that world forever. Like I low-key might even reread Gideon again because I love it so much. And then I ended up reading Ebony Gate by Julia V and Ken Babel. I have not put this through Copile, but it's not getting any more than a 2-star. Like it's a fucking mess. Like it's not good. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow, like I only liked it because it was narrated by Natalie Nadas. Like that's the only reason I liked this book and why I kept up with it, because the audiobook narrator was keeping it going for me, and I wanted to like this so much. But it's not good. It's like straight up a mess. And then of course read 250 some pages of Forged by Blood, which is going better. And this is by, God, I listened to the person say it on the audiobook. It's Ehigbor Okusun? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce their name. I really need to look it up. As I said, I went through all the emotions reading this, and at one point, one of the emotions was, do I want to order this one and the second one? Like, the duology. So the ending is going to be what really tells me if I want to continue with the series, or if it's going to sit in the spot of like Beasts of Prey by Iana Gray. There's a few series that I've read in my life, or the first books of series that I've read in my life, that have been kind of in this place of like, I couldn't care less about continuing on, but I also wouldn't say no to continuing on with the series. Because y'all know my whole issue with series. I never finished them and I never continue with them. So yeah, that was my weekend. I've got through some library books, I guess. Hopefully next weekend is a little better. I am planning on doing a 24-hour readathon next weekend, timer led, because I don't have any plans over the weekend, which I'm going to just spend reading and writing and getting content done. So we'll see how that 24-hour timer thing works. I'll probably have to start it on the Friday, or maybe even the Thursday, depending on how things go. And then like read all over the weekend. I also said last week in last week's vlog I was going to have like a recent reads kind of a thing going up soon. I think I'm going to wait until the end of November to do that for a actual Friday video. And then once the end of November hits, I will do like a October-November reading. This is what I read. This is what I recommend kind of a thing, kind of a video, like a recent reads video. And then we're going to launch into the December content, because you know I always have lots of December content going on. So if you aren't subscribed, please do subscribe. I got lots of stuff going on, lots of things happening. We love it. Once again, I got some stuff for supporting Palestine in my the down bar. What's it called? The down bar? The drop down bar? The thing underneath this video that you can click that says see more. There's all sorts of resources in there that you can go look at and sign, especially if you're Canadian. So it's me again. Hi. I just finished reading Forged by Blood and the ending ruined it for me. So I'm also editing the vlog. It's next to me if you can hear my computer panicking, but the ending was so dumb. I ended up reading the ending without the audiobook, which was a choice on my part because I realized how awful the dialogue was by the end. Like, the dialogue was so fake and so, like, just unnatural. Also, I wanted to mention, I just wanted to come here and mention and tell you, hi, I finished the book and it wasn't that good. And 2, the tropes that I keep talking about that I don't actually identify, I can tell you about them now because I finished the book. So, love triangle. Okay, orphaned girl, number 2. Girl with a tragic fucking past, number 3. We got 2 love interests, one of them who's a mysterious, also best friend, who is obsessed with her. And we have the prince, who is technically the bad guy, but not the bad guy at all. No, he's honestly like a sweetie. I like him a lot. I like Jonas a lot. But his like whole shtick is that he like his secret royalty, because he was the white boy from the beginning. Oh my god, I didn't see that coming. Whoa. Also, fated mates is in here, which I hate. Hate that trope so much. Get it out of here. Throw it away. So yeah, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones that I can think of. Yeah, finished it. At least I had an okay time reading it. It's just the ending that ruined it. It was not a good ending. Of course, what else do I say at the end of my vlogs? I don't know, but thank you guys for watching. This has been a great weekend. A long vlog again. I feel like I'm compensating for the lack of Friday videos by just making my vlogs extra long. So I do apologize if you're not a big fan of long vlogs, but I really love them myself. So I feel like I'm just gonna keep up the trend of long vlogs for a little bit longer because I really, really love long vlogs. And I love filming them and editing them because I always have so much to say to you guys because I love you guys because you guys are some of my best friends. Like, I love you, truly. The internet is a great place. Anyways, friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this lovely weekend vlog. I will catch you in another one very, very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.